Regal Movie Masters. Unlimited.
This is the Regal Movie Masters Unlimited podcast where we indiscriminately watch every goddamn movie that comes out at the local theaters. Your movie masters today are Justine.
Hi.
Brent.
Hello.
Dylan.
What's up?
And we got three movies to cover. We're looking at Dungeons and Dragons. Oh shoot, it has a full title. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Have any of you guys called it Dungeons and Dragons:
wow.
Honor Among Thieves?
I didn't know it had a colon.
Yeah, it has a colon. Spinning Gold and His Only Son. But I cannot emphasize enough the importance of sticking around as we are getting into our first annual quarterly report. The first 3 months of the year are done. We're going to talk about the movies. We have a tier list for all my people watching too much YouTube 2 years ago fans. We're doing a tier list, baby. We got a lot of movies to rank. We'll get into that after we talk about the movies. And I also got to tell everyone, if they have any questions or comments, they can email us at moviemasters760@gmail.com, and we will read your question or comment online, on the air, and address it there. So shoot us an email. Love to hear from you. Want to know what's going out there. And I feel like after this tier list goes down, I think there's going to be some hurt feelings, some stepped on toes.
Controversial.
We've got like 40
opinions.
movies to rank, so we should.
Oh, let's hurry up then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, leading off, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. It's directed by John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. They wrote and directed it. So I thought
cool.
that was, there's like a level of auteurship for these kind of franchise movies. I was going to make a joke that it was directed by Hasbro because Hasbro owns Dungeons and Dragons now.
That's right, yeah.
Which I thought is really weird. I go back to the TSR days, so strange seeing that Hasbro logo up there. That's neither here nor there, though. This is a fun romp. It's about a group of adventurers who set out to rescue one of the adventurer's daughters who is being held captive by a scoundrel who himself is in league with a bunch of red wizards who are bad guys. They're casting spells. And this ragtag group needs to get together and save the daughter, get some gold, and hopefully stop this plot of these evil red wizards because they are just running wild.
In secret.
Secretively, underground, running wild. I had a lot of fun during this.
Yes.
I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons. It has a little place in my heart. I don't pretend that I'm still with the shits like that, but I have some nostalgia based around it, and it's a weird thing to base a movie around, right? Because the whole thing of D&D is that it doesn't have like set characters or plots. Like you can adapt a comic book to the movie. You can adapt even a video game, weirdly, because there's plots and characters and stuff. But D&D is all freeform, really, if you think about it.
But wouldn't you say it's smart to do D&D? Because you could do a bunch of movies that don't even have the same actors if one of them gets uppity and wants more money?
Yes, and I think that's a smart way to do it. And there are, manuals that have like stories to them and stuff that less creative dungeon masters might go that route.
Those.
So, there is a lot of back matter and whatnot that you could dive into with the franchise. I'm not going to pretend to be versed enough in the franchise to know if this was based on a specific one or anything. Maybe some of you listening can drop a line to the email and let us know. But to my knowledge, this is kind of a from the ground up story. I liked that it's Chris Pine. He plays a thief. Because I always thought thief was the shittiest character to play in Dungeons and Dragons.
Does everyone have to be a different class?
Like if you putting a group together?
Yeah.
No. And when I
just have like 5 thieves.
Yeah. So when I played like first edition, I think, not AD&D, but like D&D, OG shit. And in that one, there was like different attributes that your character would have: strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, and basically whichever you get one roll of the dice. They changed this in AD&D. You get a lot more leeway with this. We get one roll of the dice, right? So let's say your strength is a 16. It's a pretty high roll because it's 3 die 6, right? Well, boom, you're going to be a fighter because strength is going to be your highest one. Whereas I think thief was dexterity, or maybe it was charisma. there's like minimums though. So like
Yeah.
if you roll a 4, you just cannot be a fighter.
Right.
And man, you can get that was brutal because you could get asked out and just get like, it's dice. So statistically, you could theoretically get a hard 3 every entry, and your character's just going to have a hard time. You get like negatives attached to your rolls, messed up stuff.
That's kind of Chris Pine character.
Yeah, he's clearly all I guess charisma. Well, probably rolled like a 16 to 18 on charisma, and low rolls on everything else. Whereas who is it? The Michelle Rodriguez, her character obviously high strength, probably low intellect, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
It goes on. I always thought that was a great metaphor for how life worked.
Oh.
Before we jump off of Chris Pine and charisma, how did you feel about Chris Pine in this movie? Were you a fan of him in the movie? Was it a little too distracting?
Like because of his dreamy eyes, or
Well, it just, I felt like I've been thinking about this like since we watched it, is like there's some like Brad Pitt and George Clooney roles where when
Right.
you watch them, you're like, oh, that's just Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
hard to like really buy into them as a character. And it was like kind of borderline for that for me with Chris Pine. Oh, like I think a lot of it had to do with like he had like really modern hair. He had
Yeah.
like a full hairdo and stuff.
he never broke out with Chris Pine for you?
Not really. He was Chris Pine the whole time, but I do like Chris Pine, so it was fine for me ultimately. But it was I kept trying to break through and get him to lock into being this character versus being Chris Pine.
Right.
I don't know him like that.
Yeah, same.
I mean, I saw him like in Star Trek, he was Captain Kirk.
Yeah, I mean, I know he was
Yeah, so
that,
it kind of
but
like works in that regard, But like, I don't know about a Dungeons and Dragons movie. I'm not sure. I've been thinking a lot on like, if he settled, if it worked for me or not. I have no idea.
I mean, where are you at, Dylan?
It works.
I'll be 100% honest. This is fucked up. I shouldn't admit these things on there. I thought he was Pierce Brosnan the whole time, like a time
fine.
cryogenically frozen Pierce Brosnan,
It's fine, dude.
because like a golden eye arrow Pierce Brosnan. Because I think it's
Okay.
because Hugh Grant's in the mix too.
yeah,
And I was
he's
like,
like
just
British.
That era.
I'm hanging
Yeah.
out in the 90s, and I was like, yeah, it's probably Pierce Brosnan. So I guess to your point, no, he never.
Yeah.
The monolith of Chris Pine never overshadowed
Okay.
the character of some thief for which there is
I don't
honor
know him
among.
from anything else. I just know that he was in that he was in the new Star
Yeah.
Trek movies. He could have been like an unknown actor to me.
Yeah.
kind of, just some
Oh, I
random
just-
guy.
Okay, I know where I was going with it. I think is he lost his wife and his child is kidnapped, but he's just making jokes the whole time. Not the whole time, but playing it really light.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that kind of plays to the situation this movie's in, because there was a Dungeons and Dragons movie before this.
Yeah, apparently
that
I haven't
kind
seen
of was like as much of a movie as like the Final Fantasy or like
Sure.
Dragon Ball Z movie, where it's like we just didn't know how to do
Yeah.
nerd shit right back then. I think those halcyon days of the aughts. And I mean, I feel they borrowed pretty heavily from Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
and the Marvel light-hearted adventuring tone
That's the
throughout.
blueprint for this movie for
And
sure.
I mean, I like Marvel when it's good, and Guardians to me is one of the best examples of a Marvel movie. Like if you had to sell someone the turn off your brain fun of a Marvel movie, I just can't imagine someone watching that and being like, "Oh, well, this sucks." I could get maybe like Endgame or something where it's all lore and like you have to have known a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff, but I feel like you could give anyone Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's a pretty soft pitch. And I think this is a movie, especially with the team element, was based pretty heavily on it. So I think that like, the stakes of the movie being really high versus the tone of it is very intentional and
Mhm.
sells tickets and just makes it palatable,
Yeah, as I was watching, I was thinking that too. I was like going, man, like if you just take like on paper what the task is and what happened to him in his life, I mean, maybe in the past it would have been played a completely different way, but since they had the success of something like Guardians, it's like, oh, well, we know how to do, nerd shit. And,
Yeah.
stuff with high stakes, but we still want to get people into the theaters and have them have a good time.
And I like sword and sandal movies a lot. I just
Uh-huh.
like wizards and knights and
Yeah.
shit like that. And
Fat dragons.
yeah, whatever. Show me some creeps and goblins. I mean, I don't even need goblins. Honestly, just greasy, shirtless men, swords,
hell yeah.
I'm in. Like I'm not hard to please, but yeah, some wizards, some runes, shit like that.
Yeah.
I love it. And they don't make a lot of movies like this, and I know it's because they're very boring for most people and like don't really, bring in a lot of the big bucks. So
This is definitely not boring.
I am down to take any sort of compromise to the integrity of the medium genre, whatever you want to call it, if it means I get more of it.
Yeah.
And this movie, I think, was great in that sense. Like, it wasn't super bogged down and like monster manual and like mechanics and stuff like that. But I could see them making more of it, and more movie of this equal more sword and naked men. And so I'm down. Yeah. And hopefully more monster manual shit. Bro, okay, so there's this phenomenon. I don't know how to say it better than the first-person shooter scene in the Doom movie starring The Rock, where like the movie just says fuck it and gives you exactly what you expect it to be. And when towards the end of this movie, there's like magical mazes that pop up and people run through, and there's gelatinous cubes and there's mimics. That's the Doom moment.
Yeah.
They got the Doom FPS moment where they're just like, you want to see some people run through a maze? That's what I remember playing the game a lot, is mapping out these mazes meticulously, because it's just all in your mind. You have to figure out what 40 paces this way and map it all out on paper. So like when they start showing a big ass labyrinth pop up and there's mimics and shit, I'm like, all right, now we're doing D&D. But you can only do that for like 5 to 10 minutes of screen time.
It felt effective.
Yeah, you don't, and it's fan service, but without alienating the gen pop. And because I think they were able to make this really dense subject matter, and the main thing of D&D to me is like how pervasive it is in like every aspect of culture in a way. Video game shit, movies based on video games, etc. Like, we don't really need to be trained up too much in like experience points and like leveling up and like
everybody knows that by now.
Party, there's thieves and there's different classes, and it's like and it's, I guess, just a credit to how well designed the game is, that it like has permeated our culture so much that now 30 years after, parents were trying to, burn these monster manuals, now we don't even need us training on it. It's just like, yeah, go on. We're up and running. Let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan again of just this kind of movie, and I'll suffer any sort of compromise it takes to make it watchable and make there be more of them. You're gonna show me some crazy ass wizards casting spells and shit. I like it.
Yeah, those red wizards were
hard,
cool as hell.
All that stuff. Show me some throne rooms, goblins.
I think they did a good job of like not being too literal, but capturing like the spirit of the game.
Right.
So it's like, it's not alienating to people who don't really know anything about it. So I think that's another reason why the Chris Pine character was kind of lighthearted, so that you could still be like, it's a game, it's fun, and not be like, it's so serious. And I guess that he does get a little serious at one point. He's kind of just saying like, he needs to not think about it like that, or he can't do his thing.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that line, because that was the one that made me let him get away with it more. I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's got a strategy to his lightheartedness.
Yeah, but I was also thinking, you were saying like the Doom part, the Halo show.
Yeah,
they have like parts like that where you're like, oh, this is like you're playing Halo,
right?
But it doesn't do a good job, I think, of like capturing the spirit of the game. It gets too into like some story you've never heard of that they're trying to make it into, and it's not really fun. It's not a fun watch, which this really is, because it's a game.
And speaking of fun, I am thrilled to see some more practical effects creep in. So I'm always championing it, of course. And it's weird between watching this and the new season of Mandalorian.
Oh god.
I'm like, you look at a movie like Barbarian, right, which is so made for the specific audience in mind, and like big rubber monsters, and it's kind of alienating in a sense. I mean, obviously, if you're on board already, you're gonna love it. But if you're maybe agnostic, it's gonna bum you out. And I think we're kind of at an interesting point with these effects where it's like we're getting kind of 50-50 or 20-80. Like you're getting some monsters and creatures and practical stuff, big foam suits, and then you're also getting a whole lot of CG. It's mostly CG, but just seeing a couple practical masks and monsters and cat people pop up, I'm like, all right, let's fucking go. This is great. It's like, I would expect the return to practical effects to be like a revolution that's just like, now it's all like this overnight. But it's like, maybe this is how it starts. It creeps up more and more. Yeah. And instead of getting like kind of niche market movies like Barbarian, you get it peppered into like the most popular, populace-driven kind of films here and there. And maybe you get a little more down the line. A little bit of hope for we dinosaurs.
When you mentioned that this was written and directed by just a couple buddies, like it kind of gives me the feel that they maybe have requested that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean I think anytime you get that level of control over something, and it's a old nostalgic kind of game in a sense.
That's the main thing.
It makes sense.
All these things are kind of throwback stuff. It's all coming from these people's childhoods, when everything that you were watching at the time was a lot of practical effects, because there wasn't like CG that was that good. If you grew up watching Star Wars and you were like, oh man, look at those little creatures, you want to throw some of that into something
crazy
if you're doing
creatures
it right
there.
now. Yeah.
Dylan, did you have a favorite creature?
Bird was cool. that guy was cool. Just like using him twice does not. Well, I guess he did learn a lesson. They bricked up that window.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that guy.
That's
Jonathan.
The fact that it's Jonathan.
Yeah.
That was like a nice little touch.
Yeah, that's best creature.
That was your best creature? Okay.
I don't know. That's like the good. I like that little fish, but it only gets like 5 seconds.
Barely any time.
Yeah.
You've been quiet, dog. What do you like? How you feeling?
Did you have a favorite member of the crew? Was Chris Pine your guy, or like, what are we talking about here?
Dylan, stop talking about Chris Pine so much.
Look, I love Chris Pine. He's so fucking dreamy. Like,
hell yeah, he is.
That fucking stone cut jaw that he has. Just fucking whatever that is. Give me more of that.
Okay.
Like the magician or the sorcerer that they get.
The lady or
the kid, the guy.
Oh yeah.
Like that guy a lot. That guy's cool.
Is that
Filled with self-doubt.
He's in
he had a
Detective
journey.
Pikachu.
That was cool. Like
He what?
I think he's the guy in Detective Pikachu.
Oh
Really?
shit!
Yeah, the kid that hangs out with Pikachu.
All right.
Dang. Wow. Yeah, he had a good story. And then what was the woman shapeshifter? She was called like the red shape. Is that what
I think
it
they
was?
called it a dryad, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Shapeshifter.
That was like a lot of her stuff.
Yeah.
They need to give her more stuff too.
Hey, listen, we're not getting an Animorphs movie yet, so until then.
Oh yeah.
Wild shape?
Wild shape. That's what it was. That was I like that phrase.
Yeah. I like, what's his name? Regé Jean Page.
Okay.
Which one was that?
The paladin guy. That he just comes in and he's just good at everything.
Yeah.
Then goes away. Because everyone knows if you have that
the dude
guy.
that walked in a straight line.
Yes.
That was a funny part.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird when you watch movies like this now. You're just like, we're gonna get more, right? Like, no one has an idea in their mind that this is the last we're gonna see of Dungeons and Dragons, right?
I forgot to check box office. I guess that ultimately determined what's up. But I'd like to see a Fat Dragon spinoff, a Wild Shape spinoff.
Give me some sword and sorcery movie. I was like one a year at least. You could crank out a movie like this.
You can easily do one a year. You just do a random story.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't need to be
a new guild.
Yeah, you could just keep going. It's a very potentially awesome franchise, and unlike Lord of the Rings or stuff like that, it's not just limited to X amount of books or whatever.
Lord of the Rings is mid
Mid
sucks. That's what you're saying.
Bored of the Rings.
You're saying Lord of the
Rings
sucks.
I wonder how real Lord of the Rings people feel about.
Oh, they're
movies.
pissed.
About Hobbit movies?
About like the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, it seems 50-50. I think I've talked to some Hobbit heads who are just like, bro, you're gonna show me some fucking
finally.
Yeah. Show me the what's the eye thing? Eye of Sauron. You're gonna show me an eye of Sauron? I'm down. I don't care. Whatever. Mm-hmm. They're really long. It's impossible to get into. I love it. Show me more. And I know they dislike the Hobbit movies a lot because it's like change too much stuff. It's just supposed to be a short movie. You're adding stuff from the Simularium. What? Similarian?
So I have no idea.
I'm gonna have some token people coming for me on this one. But and then you talk to others like who are just a little too snobby and just like, I don't think the elves would be like that, and I don't think it really captured the etymology of the languages of Middle Earth.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I have experienced it go both ways. 'Cause I like the movies. I have never read a whole book of it, but
Yeah.
it's cool. It's the little bit that I read, and even seeing it in the movies, it's cool because again, you want to talk about D&D permeating culture. No Tolkien, no D&D.
Mm.
Simple as that.
Hmm.
It's so gnarly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think of the influence.
Yeah, but I like RPG video games.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of overlap in
Right.
that sort of stuff. So I can appreciate it from that point of view. It's just once it gets too much lore.
He has a lot of, I mean, he's writing whole ass languages. I mean, as far as world building goes, other than like the Bible or something, that's like about as intense as it gets,
Dune.
Yeah, but I mean, they're all fucking giving respect
The Dungeons and
Tolkien.
Dragons? No.
Tolkien.
It's
Messed up, but it's
number one.
Again, you gotta put respect on it. All right, we got a lot to get to. Let's say Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. Are we rolling up a character, or are we gonna go play football and have intercourse at some point in our lives? I'm gonna get a big old greasy bag of Doritos. I'm gonna put on Rush's Caress of Steel, and I'm gonna roll up some characters and really get down with D&D. I think it's a fantastic film, very fun. Hopefully more of these. Justine, what do you think?
Roll some dice, for sure. I tried playing D&D one time.
We had a run. We had like a couple month run.
But like a couple of months, meaning like we met like twice in
There
that
was more
amount
than
of
twice.
time.
I'm not going to let you do that to me. It was more than twice, but it was still a couple months. When that's how fucked up it is. If you meet every week for a couple months playing D&D, you will be 1/4 of the way through one adventure, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what I don't like about it. It takes a really long time, and you
Yeah.
have to like write down too much. That's why I like video games.
don't blame
I
you.
don't want to have
Look.
to keep track of all this stuff myself. Ditto with Magic the Gathering. Don't want to have to write anything, but if you put it on a console, I'm into it. I have a friend who's really, really into it, and he's a DM, and he's been doing it for a while with the same people. But he's like really artistic,
Yeah.
and so he'll like draw out all the stuff, and it's
Yeah.
really cool to see. But I'm like, this stresses me out.
Mhm.
But I'll roll the dice. I'll play with someone if I
All
can
right.
do it like online or something.
Good luck. That's
So if anyone wants to play with me online exclusively,
my big D&D friend. His joke is that it's the cruelest game because like it only appeals to the biggest nerds, and you need friends to play it. So it's this ultimate paradox where the people who really want to play it never can because they don't have friends. And that's life, baby.
I'm going to hitch a big ass trailer to the back of my car. I'm going to pick up that fat dragon and hopefully take him to a dice game where we both got a hot hand.
What was it?
Are you gonna roll up a character, or are you just gonna be a fucking jock?
I'll roll up a character. I'll dig through the ditches and burn through the witches.
That's,
Hell yeah.
Is that what they do in D&D?
That's what they do in Dragula.
Oh, they slam on the back of their Dragula.
Yeah, that's Drax and Drax and dice flaming.
Can So wait, so am I stuck a virgin, or can I slam a?
If
witch?
you're rolling up a character, you are stuck.
Oh, man.
I don't know how it
you
is
could-
anymore.
You could get
Yeah, you can get a D&D girlfriend.
yeah, D&D girlfriend.
Listen, the world
Or
is
an in-game
changing.
girlfriend.
The world is changing. It's
Oh,
not
I'll
like
get
it
some like
used to be.
cosplay D&D thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a post Stranger Things. It's a fucking whole new landscape.
Colin started playing D&D after the first season of Stranger Things.
Colin started listening to Metallica after season 4 of Stranger Things.
Spinning Gold is a movie for sure. It's a movie. It's
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's about Neil Bogart. He started Casablanca Records, a popular record label in the 70s, known for such popular artists as Kiss, Donna Summers, Village People, Lips. They did
You wouldn't know that.
They did Funky Town. Well, don't
You wouldn't have
don't
gotten
skip
that
ahead.
from-
Anyway, they're kind of I've always associated them with like the disco label and Kiss. They were sort of around during that era. They've done a lot more stuff, of course, but that's what I know them for. And so I was really excited to see this movie, and it's a biopic in the style of every biopic, and it just follows this guy's story through creating this label, signing these artists, all that. the fun little asterisk here is that it's directed by the actual guy's actual son. So it's a son telling a story about his dad who, spoiler, he did die like in the 80s, which is really unfortunate. He was like 39 years old. So this kid didn't, I don't know where he's got his information of his father, but obviously blows him up in like a hero complex way.
Oh,
Kind of makes the guy larger than life on screen. And
it's
all
also produced and executive produced by other Bogarts.
Yeah, it's a family affair.
Yeah.
I'll cut to the chase. This is an abysmal film.
Yes.
This is a very, if I could not shake the comparison to the and this is not going to be for everyone here, the VH1 movie of the week bio of Meatloaf. It screamed that to me because that's like my bar for hilariously bad low budget biopics, especially of a musical variety. And this just was exactly that, just a real basic cable.
This was low budget?
It's hard to say.
I think it was like, it doesn't feel low budget till you really start looking at the seams.
They spent a lot on marketing, that's for sure. Because like if you're on Twitter, you've had this advertised. Down your throat.
And they have names attached.
Oh, really?
Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo, two like SNL people.
Oh.
Jay
Weird.
Farrow, and I forget the other guy's name.
Chris Red.
Chris Red.
Okay, well, I guess they're not really movie SNL
No.
people yet.
No, but it's
I do
like,
have a question for you though,
trying.
Justine. How do you always know what movies not to go to?
Well, let me tell you, I messed up this week.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll get to it. All right.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin with the problems on this one. Another streak, at least for me and Dylan, of watching movies with shitty fucking music. Like,
Oh.
it's just astonishing.
Wait.
This should have been the movie where the music would have been immaculate.
Yeah, isn't
Yeah.
it like you know what music there should be in
But
it?
they re-recorded it
They
all.
got
so
the
they
actors
don't-
doing it.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So they have,
That's weird.
they have
yeah,
like a dumbed down version, a modern dumbed
Kids
down
Bop.
version of like Kiss songs.
yeah.
It's like, as a big Kiss fan, you're just listening to this. Like, is this a Kiss type beat? It's not even like Kiss.
Dude, yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, a Kiss type
Yeah.
beat would be the
And
way to
then,
put it.
Yeah.
Like, again, one of their biggest artists, the Village People, they couldn't like afford to license the Village People stuff because Village People shit's like been legit for a while. Like, you have to get it through them, and they just wouldn't give them anything for the movie. So like YMCA, let's say, which is probably one of the biggest songs to come out of the label, not on there.
They
Oh,
talk about it, but
Yeah, like the director's being sued by one of the producers because they felt that a lot of corners were cut financially. Like, and they cited the YMCA thing being one of them. They're like, they don't even say the Village People. They don't have the song in there. And so like a lot of people that hold Village People rights are like, hey, that's messed up. We know what you're alluding to. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you didn't, and that's like that's your dad's biggest hit. And you didn't address it because you didn't want to pay the money. And I guess there's a bunch of workers' rights issues. And we do have some breaking info. Can you guess the last name of the person who made the music for this film?
I'm gonna guess it's a Bogart.
Oh, it's Bogart. It's Evan Bogart who
Yeah.
made the music for this. So, like, yeah, the guy who's the son of this visionary record putter-outer just isn't not very good at making music.
Or it's, I mean, no one will ever be able to replicate the
Yeah.
sounds
No.
of like 70s disco.
But
and-
Dylan's right. It was also just like the beat itself. You'd be like, what? Why is that not right?
Yeah, nothing about it. Yeah, there's the original music, of course. This could have been one of the most banging soundtracks out there. I mean, fucking Parliament is on the label, like there's
Yeah.
no shortage of amazing artists who put out records on Casablanca. So it's just confounding how abysmal the music is. And as historians, it is just downright chronologically confusing. Because okay, so the way it jumps around, like their pitch, they would have you believe that the label was like floundering, was just like losing money like crazy, in horrific debt, well into like 1975. There's still like the movie's like it flashes all the years, right? It's like 1975. They're still in like huge amounts of debt, but it's like with Kiss, who were their flagship band or like the first band they signed or whatever. Like their first 3 studio records were legit, like not monster albums or anything, but Kiss Alive, which was released in 1975, is like one of the biggest selling albums of the 70s.
Late 1975, by the way, too, like September 1970. So it's not like You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
timeline and the storytelling of this was way off.
And just weird stuff like they started. Fellow Historian.
Yes.
We were losing our minds because Shout It Out Loud is like their debut song that they.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they show them play a song they have on their 4th or 5th record.
As like their showcase track.
Yeah, it's like oh, we've signed this hot new band. Just shout it out loud. And I'm like, is that song like cheap or something? Like, why did they have that song?
Probably.
And that's not even like first 3 records.
Yeah, and I mean, just from watching old like Kiss footage, I know that like Firehouse was the big record song from that era that they were like trying to make a single. And Neil Bogart himself was like, hey, you guys got to cover Kissing Time on your album for some reason, which is why that song sticks out on that record like a sore thumb.
Did he also allude that he named the band too?
No, I think because he was cheating on his wife with a lady and she had the demo of, and it said Kiss. He goes, oh, Kiss, good name.
That's right. Okay. Yeah.
A lot of stuff like that. A lot of moments where he's just, and again, I feel so bad for the guy because as far as I know, he was just a record guy who, had a great ear, frankly. And like his son is making him out to look like an egomaniac. He's like teaching Donna Summer how to like sex moan on her record for Love to Love You. Like the Forrest Gump level of like insertion into history that they put this guy out who like, again, as a record label guy, you're fucking sitting behind a desk. And
here's another thing. Like you would think if you are the first direct offspring of a music producer, label guy, whatever, you would understand that when you record a vocal track, it's not just in an office with a bunch of people drinking and milling about.
Was it the Isley Brothers?
Yeah, it was the Isley Brothers.
God.
Like they're cutting a track and it's just like in a living room or something. Yeah. And it's just like everybody's just milling about and partying while they're cutting like these legendary tracks. It's weird.
Yeah. And it's like, I get it. We're like kind of in the reeds with being picky here and there, but it's just
But it's a biopic. It's supposed to be somewhat accurate, right?
And more to the point, you could have these inaccuracies and still be entertaining or fun to watch or engaging in some way. This was not that. The disco element, again, which is like, this is kind of what the label is known for at this point. They didn't really ever talk about it in like a sweeping cultural sense. Hey, look at how the cultural zeitgeist has kind of come along. And now there's like Studio 54 was not mentioned.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
It's insane about a movie, about a label
New York based
known for disco music. Huge cultural touchstones are just like not mentioned. Yeah. I mean,
or you put fucking Marauder in the movie and then he's gone.
Yeah, and like a guy who basically doesn't know English, just speaking with like kind of an accent. Again, it's just a cheap made-for-TV movie that's on the screen, and it's probably a horrifically brutal money laundering operation.
I would venture a guess that it probably is.
And based on that article I read, it seemed like just pure delusion on the kid's part. Like one of the people who he ripped off in real life, not in the movie, but like in real life to make the movie. The guy's like, this guy thinks this is going to be a huge movie like Rocket Man or something, but like the casting is abysmal. Just tearing a guy who's invested in the movie is just like tearing it apart because the guy never paid the guy, and it's just
even the marketing is really fucked up because there's people that think this is a movie about Kiss because the way they cut the trailer,
right?
They just make it look like it's like a Kiss biopic versus like a random Bogart guy.
And is that supposed to be Donna Summer like on the poster?
Yeah.
That or Gladys Knight. I don't remember what the poster looks like.
That was another issue we had too when we were watching it. We're like, hey, like no body shaming or whatever, but that's not what Donna Summer looked like at all.
Not really what she sounds like either.
Yeah.
So it's like, they just got a lady with a big voice or whatever to sing, and it's like, yeah, sure, she's a competent singer, but it's not anything.
You could lip sync and get somebody that kind of looks like Don.
Yeah, and it's the same for everyone. I mean, the Kiss casting is insane. Like,
they can't have like the Gene Simmons guy stick out his tongue every 2 seconds.
And I've watched a lot of Gene Simmons interviews, and like
the portrayal of him.
Yeah, he's
horrible.
Like, oh my god. Did we get into the Beth issue?
I don't know.
Hit him with Beth.
It's hard to explain that whole thing.
It's really complicated. Okay, so. What album does Beth come out on? Destroyer?
Yeah, which is after Alive.
Yes, like 77, 78-ish. Again, way after Kiss is already a gigantic band. For no reason at all. This does not make any sense. the Neil Bogart, the label guy, his wife's name is Beth, and there is a Kiss song that Peter Criss writes called Beth, way after the fact. In 1977, again, when this young upcoming group was just struggling so much, it shows they're like, play the song. Nah, you guys keep making fun of me. And he starts playing the song Beth. And the label guy is like furious because he thinks the song's about his wife because it's called Beth. And he's like, fuck you guys. Fuck you. But it's just, A, again, chronologically comes out way after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
B, it's not about that. Like, isn't Peter Criss's wife his name Beth?
I swore it was about like he had an actual wife named Beth.
Why did you say that name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
I can have a Beth.
Man.
And did you sleep with her?
It's not even like Beth is a hot babe and she's does it with everyone. It's like a sweet song.
Yeah, it's just a nice
about
little
someone.
ballad. Yeah.
Not like, hey, I'm busy at work all the time, and I wish I was home with you, but I'll be there soon. Like
And
that's the lyrical
which
content.
Sounds like a marriage, right?
Yeah. It's just like every rock and roll band's ballad ever. And again, why wouldn't you say, oh, no, I didn't write, this is your wife's name, Beth? I didn't even know that. It's not about her at all. It's about someone else entirely. It's like put out like the song is to antagonize him for not pushing the band harder. This movie is gibberish.
Concurrently with that scene, they put Michael Ian Black on the screen. And you're like, oh, Michael Ian Black. No, this is the worst Michael Ian Black casting or performance I've ever seen. It was kind of shocking.
Yeah, he is just present. He is reading lines. I mean, yeah, one of the greatest comedic forces of all time. He's just given
Dale.
5 very straight lines. Listen, Neil, you give my band more money for my band. That's the deal.
There's this weird argument in one of his scenes where it's revealed to Kiss that they're playing through fake cabinets because they have so many cabinets on the stage.
And they're like mid-tour.
Yeah. And also this band that's all about theatrics all of a sudden gets really mad about that. It's like they need it to be legit. It's like, what are you talking about?
I want to go back to that Beth thing.
Okay.
So when the fake Peter Criss is singing to the guy, they show like Gene and Paul like just menacingly like smiling, like smirking at the guy, like got you. Wife. And it's like, what the fuck?
It's so
they're
weird.
just there, like watching him mad.
And when we talk about like how the portrayal of Gene Simmons is like so off, like Gene's like in this movie is just like he's not that like crazy egotistical genius that he always projects himself to be. If anything, he's like so unsure of himself, and like, how is this supposed to be Gene Simmons at all?
I mean, there's only one way to do Gene Simmons, which is Fred Armisen's impression of Gene Simmons.
There you go.
And you don't. This is like anyone who's just like, why'd you sign us? I thought you liked our demo. Understated, quiet. It's
Bizarre.
It's also weird because they just got off a stage, like it was like a sold out crowd. People were like, stoked that Kiss was playing. And then he's in the bus like by himself. He's like, what the fuck? When are we going to get money?
Also, the bus is not a tour bus. It's just a bus. It's really weird. There's a point where I think they ran out of money that they wanted to launder, and the crowd just turns into just lights on a wall.
Yeah.
This is a really bad movie.
Is this label still around?
Is Casablanca?
Weirdly. I mean, it's like, I think Polydor buys it out at some point. So it's a subdivision of something, but there's not really A-listers on it or anything. Yeah. I mean, again, it's really associated with like
Disco.
This era.
Yeah.
Let's just breeze past this here. Is this are we shipping platinum or are we selling gold? I'm going to say we are selling nothing. It's just all cut straight to the cutout bin, all dollar bin, trash. Throw it away. This is a very bad film.
I'm spinning anybody with the last name Bogart around and headbutting them.
I liked it. Great
No,
time.
you didn't. No, you fucking didn't.
I had a great time with friends. That's how I look at it. And that's why I like.
Oh, okay. It was the friends we made in the theater.
Yeah,
got it.
Which was absolutely no one. That's always fun when you go to a movie and there's no one else there.
I'm surprised no one was there.
I'm not.
I'm surprised there wasn't at least 1 or 2 people.
Well, you guys saw a late show.
I guess it was a Friday. See,
on
that's
the
what I'm
opening
saying.
weekend. I mean,
Well, there's also D&D.
well, let's talk about a movie where there was a lot of people there. I would say more people than any other movie we've seen this week.
Maybe.
a film called His Only Son. This is directed and written by, it's directed by David Helling. He says it's written by David Helling. I think it was written by the Lord, God. It's based on the Bible stories, so the story of Abraham. What do you know about, why don't you sum up the story of Abraham, Brent?
There's this guy named Abraham, and he built an ark, and he was crucified for it.
Dylan, I've already talked to you about the movie.
Oh, Dylan, you didn't go to this?
No, I was
This
at
is
work.
just me and Justine. Date night.
Date day.
I asked Justine's father permission to hold her hand.
He said no.
And
He said, hell no, not even taking me to this movie.
So he chaperoned us and sat between
He
us.
said, what did it? Leave space for Jesus?
Yeah. And we did.
Yep, one seat between us.
And we did. Okay, so Abraham is like my understanding of Abraham, because I think there's like a Patton Oswalt bit where he sums it up. That's like an example of how insane the Old Testament is. God's like, hey, Abraham, we need you to sacrifice your son. He's like, what? And he's like, yeah, do it. Kill your son for me, God. And he's like, fuck, all right. And then he goes to do it. And then right before he kills him, God's like, whoa, stop. Don't do that. I was just testing you. You are faithful. And that's kind of a like edgy atheist will pitch this as like, an example of how, messed up the Bible is or whatever. It's kind of a go-to. So I know it is that story. I will admit I'm taking this guy at face value. I think this is a pretty faithful retelling of the story.
It hits the main parts.
I'll accept that everything in this movie portrayed happened in the story. It just doesn't seem like a one where they like flub the numbers. But they didn't mention, in my understanding of it, they did a walk like a super long way to the place to kill his son. So it wasn't just, hey, Abraham, go kill your son. It's like, go on like a 2-day walk. Then through a perilous time, because all of the Romans, was it Romans? It wasn't Romans, was it? Whatever, the guys with the leather skirts, they didn't like the desert people or anyone really, so they were just being mean to anyone on the road. So it was not a small ask to say, go walk 2 days and then kill this guy, right? So the framework of the film essentially is Abraham on this long journey, and he's thinking back on his life, and so you're learning about his story as it fleshes it out. And so, okay, check this out. He's like, flashback to early Abraham days. This is very kind of confusing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not necessarily coherent, like how much of it is flashback and how much of it is present day. Jumps around a lot.
And it's the same actors and stuff. They look very much the same.
So there's like early on Abraham's baby-faced, and then later on he's got a beard, but it's also like the beard could be right now or 2 years ago, and you'll never know. Mm-hmm. So it gets a little confusing. But first of all, huge deal, right? Because God's like, hey, all you polytheists, you worshiping Zeus and all that, get that out of your head. Just me. And so he's like sold on this whole monotheism thing, right? And he's like kind of the first prophet in a sense. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a scholar here. But he's a big deal. Like him taking the tribe, being like, nope, we're going out to the desert. God said go to the desert. Everyone follow me. Everyone will have one God. Everyone pray to one God. Forget all the sticks and the runes and all of that. Here's what we're doing from now on, right? But here's the thing. God has promised him this kingdom and everything on earth, but he doesn't have a kid. And so he's like praying to God all the time. God, give me a kid. God, give me a kid. So in the flashback, it shows God makes more appearances in this film than I've ever seen in a movie, other than like, joke movies or something. But no, God shows up, white robe, backlit, God voice, talks like this, like your 5-year-old understanding of God is portrayed on screen in this film. And God's like, you will have a son. It'll come from your body. And he's like, all right. So he tells his old lady this, and they're like, we've been trying for so long. Here's what's going to happen. You have a kid with my maid, because back then they had like servants and stuff, right? And she's like,
she's a slave.
She's a slave, yeah. Have sex with my slave. Then she'll have a kid. Then you can have a kid with her, whatever. And so this whole time Abraham is walking, he's like counting back on this story. And then as time goes on, apparently God is like, what? No, dude, you'll have a real kid, like with your wife, dummy. You didn't need to do that. I
told you were going to have a kid. What are you doing?
So he has his kid with his wife. And then God is like, all right, now it's time. Go on a long ass walk and then kill the son you had with your wife, not the son you had with the slave. And so he's kind of recounting the story in his head as they're going and facing all of these perils, bobcats and shit, animals.
You don't see them.
You don't see them, but they're implied. And he's stressing out about this issue. And so he's kind of like, fuck, is God having me kill my son because I had that kid with the slave? Like my old lady is all pissed off at me. Like he's got a lot on his shoulders, man. And so, yeah, I did appreciate kind of having this story fleshed out a little, because I find the Bible really difficult to read. You know what it is? I think I always try to do King James because I want to be smart. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Anyways, the movie keeps going. He gets to the mountain. This is the funniest part of the movie. They're going in a group because they took a couple guys with them, right? And the couple guys are like, all right, we're at the last peak. You guys hold back. I'm going to go up the mountain, make the sacrifice. His kid's with him the whole time.
He just hasn't told him anything. He's just like, hey, what are we doing, Dad? And he says, we're going to go up to this mountain, and God wants us to do a sacrifice there. And he's like, all right. So they go.
So the kid is walking up with a big old batch of sticks, presumably that Abraham is going to burn him with.
Yeah.
And the kid's walking up and he's like, Dad? Yes, Isaac, my son. I noticed we're going to make a sacrifice, but we don't have a sacrifice with us. It's just you and me. And he's like, don't worry about it.
He's like walking behind him too as they're going up the mountain.
And he's like, God will provide one.
So mean, making him carry the sticks. It's a get me a switch moment, but he has a whole bundle of sticks on his back.
Gets to the top of the mountain, pulls back the knife. He's about to plunge it in. You hear Abraham, the God voice, the aforementioned God voice. But I'm going to try to do the real version. Abraham. Like like God is like getting his attention like that. God himself speaks. Hey, dude. I'm just fucking with you, dude. And God basically says, I'm just fucking with you. I wanted to see if you do it. And Isaac's cool with it.
Yeah, he does tell him like right before, he's like, hey, man, I got to level with you.
Yeah.
You know how we were like, oh, there's no sacrifice. It's you. It's got to be you. And he's like, me? Isn't there another way? Nah, I asked him. He said no. All right, let me get up on this rock. He was a good son.
Went along with it.
Yeah, he went along with it. And then I'm sure it was very relieved and very wary of his father after that, I'm sure.
So, he ends with hugging. My son, you're so devout. Screen goes to black. Okay, movie's over. Nope. Flash on screen.
2,000 years later.
Boom. It's Christ on the cross. And a Roman soldier looking at the cross be like, he gave, like.
Truly, he is the Son of God.
Yeah.
That's it. And then it's the end of the movie.
And then it gives a John 3:16 quote. And it says
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Like it says just that on the screen. And then it fades out everything except for the words.
His only son.
His only son.
Boom, baby.
That's the name of
What
the
happens
movie.
after that?
Okay, so I'm not fucking joking. I've never seen this in a movie before.
So credits are rolling.
And there's a countdown timer in the bottom left-hand corner. And it says 2 minutes until the director gives you a message. And you see the timer count down.
Yeah, while you're watching the credits, there's just this weird little, a notification on the bottom of the screen that's 154, 153. And you're like, well, what's going to happen?
Yeah, so I'm obviously glued to my seat. I want to see what happens. Then it gets to the director of the movie. And he's like, thanks to everyone for donating to our GoFundMe. This is the first movie to ever be funded and have a theatrical release.
So that we don't have to not be able to release it because Hollywood doesn't believe in what we're putting out.
We don't have to go through Hollywood executives. We get funded by you. And this is the first movie to ever be released in the theaters.
So he's on the right side of the screen and the other half is taken up by credits of patrons or whatever.
The credits are still going?
Yes.
No, it's
Patron.
yeah. So it's a bunch of names while he's talking.
Then a QR code shows up.
Yeah.
And it says, scan this and you can buy a ticket for someone else. Because he's like, I want to make every book of the Bible in chronological order. Next up is Jacob. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. He's like, scan this, pay it forward. Because a lot of people are like, I want to see this movie, but I can't afford to see this movie. So you buy a ticket with this QR code on the screen right now.
You can't afford to go to see a movie. You're not thinking about these movies. I'm sorry.
And then okay, so now we got to be done, right? No, then it's just like a almost like a shot, like a silhouette, like a night skyline, like some tents and stuff to make it look like mangery, and then just Bible quote fade out. Bible quote.
So you're like, how
fade
long
out.
is this movie? Does
keeps
this
going.
count? It's just screensaver of Bible quotes on starry sky background.
There's like
We
6?
left during them, didn't we?
I think so, or we started to mobilize for sure.
Yes, because it was like, oh, does this just keep going?
It was at least 6. Like fade in,
Yes.
read it. Romans 2:13, fade out, fade up. Corinthians 8:19.
And it didn't. It wasn't like there was even like scriptures from the story.
No,
It's just totally random.
Ones I like.
Yeah, these are my
Bangers.
favorites.
yeah, hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I kind of liked it. It's so weird to say. It's like a very made-for-TV movie again.
Yeah.
Very budget, but I don't know. It's kind of a classic and super important myth, and I feel like you have to kind of keep telling these stories.
Question for you.
Yes.
Before we started the grand experiment, how many faith-based movies would you see per year?
I mean, when like God's Not Dead would hit Netflix or just something to goof on, it would be that. But this is not that. This is like
No, I was actually excited to see this one because it is a biblical story, not
it's
like-
not
Not a
about
faith-based.
Yeah.
Not a fan
Okay.
base feed.
it's not like
it's
your
not
grand
fanfic.
it's not your grandma's chain letter about a professor who
Okay.
Yeah.
refused to stop praying
Yeah,
or whatever
this
it
is.
is.
Something that
This
you
is an
might
interpretation
actually
of
want to
something from-
learn.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it is good to have this stuff in your head again, especially since I'm too much of a dum dum to actually read the Bible, particularly the Old Testament. That's where the classics are, right?
Yeah.
So it's not horrifically badly done.
No, it's just I think it's just boring. I was
Right.
really falling asleep at one point.
Yeah,
Because it's super slow. They are just walking somewhere for a lot of the movie, and there's this music that's
right.
like
Oh Jesus!
it's like he had a friend of his make like 20 seconds worth of music, and you hear it every 4 minutes, let's say.
pops up a lot.
Yes, and it's like really dramatic, sad
Yeah.
music, like 3 notes on a piano, and then like an acoustic guitar comes in, and it's like, this is just what we have to do. I can't even bear a son.
Right.
A lot of crying about not being able to have a kid. That's such a better story though. That whole
Right.
deal with his wife Sarah has not been able to conceive, and so they're stressing out because they're getting old. And
The actress's name was Sarah. Cool. Right?
she was good.
Yeah.
She was good and just cried a lot. But the issue with their like marital problems and
Right.
her being like, I followed you out here and nothing's really happened
It's
yet.
a crazy story. The guy's like, "Hey, God's talking to me. You down? Yeah, fucking let's go."
She's like, God is talking to you. Okay. She's
Yeah.
doing everything she can, and doesn't really get into as much of that as I wish that they did. But after every maybe 10 lines of dialogue, it goes to the music. And
Right.
then there's some slow-mo walking or just him looking sad somewhere. And then, okay, you get more dialogue. And then the music again. It just got really repetitive and tiring. So-
Yeah, that's a very Jesus movie trope. I noticed this so heavy with Jesus Revolution, where it's like, oh, every time someone has a line, they play this like really melodramatic music
Yeah.
over it, like very soap opera style. I don't know. I just enjoyed it in a sense just for being so odd and different and joyless and uncompromising.
You like it for being joyless.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing.
It's making no real concessions for like a modern audience other than like translating it. Like, we talked about Dungeons and Dragons having like a Guardians of the Galaxy tone, or like, hey, it'll be like a fun romp. This is just the equivalent of this movie would be like watching people roll characters and like just play a session. It was like CCTV.
I was gonna say liken it to something that I might understand.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like just
Neither.
History Channel biopic, but
Okay.
not as well done.
It's so weird because like a cartoon that's like 15 minutes can do this story.
Right.
You know?
yeah,
and
yeah.
and you can do it so that you're like, oh, I understand. This was, I don't even remember how long, like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
it's not going to do as good of a job like teaching anyone who doesn't already know the story
Right.
as like maybe like a children's tale would, because it's like you have to know way too much to really understand what's going on. And so without that context, and you're like, this guy is going to kill his son, it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I just wouldn't recommend it, if only because if you love this stuff, you might be insulted at the kind of cheapness of it. And if you're already familiar with the material, then this isn't really going to flesh it out in any way. I appreciated it. I would go as far as to say, like, I don't regret watching it. And I will absolutely watch the next insane bullshit this guy pulls off.
Can't
Says
wait.
Jacob is next.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
supposedly of the Bible, the Old Testament cinematic universe, the Torah verse. I'm fucking down. So yeah, I couldn't have hated it if I'm down for the next one. I don't know what that means. But I'm not gonna tell some innocent bystander to go watch this movie by any means.
I would want him to do a sequel to this one. They spend so long talking about how he slept with her handmaid or whatever,
yeah.
and then she got pregnant, and then she's like, "You got her pregnant," and he's all, "Well, you told me to." She's like, "No," and then she disappears. They don't talk about that ever
Yeah,
again.
Well, yeah, that's the mom was there because she got rescued as part of the deal from Abraham doing something. He was there when Sodom happened, bro. This is a trip. This is the Abraham guy.
Sodom happened?
Yeah, the fire raining down, all that.
Oh, that's Sodom.
Yeah. Not the German thrash
Yeah,
band.
they meant the German.
No.
Dutch band.
That would be great. But
Yeah.
They were there?
and it would have been improved music. But
Yeah,
that's fucked up. You think they do a Sodom and Gomorrah story?
I wish.
That'd be wild.
You know what's a bummer is like you can't really watch the movie Dune without hearing 1,000 band names.
Right.
Like now that you're talking about the Bible, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
first time I'm really like listening to things about the Bible. I'm like, oh man, that's even more band names.
Right.
Like I was like, oh, Sons of Abraham from like Michigan or whatever. It's like,
Wait till you start reading Tolkien, my friend, because
oh, man.
between Tolkien and the Bible and H.P. Lovecraft,
Yeah.
that's every band name.
Every single band name. Yeah.
Did you guys even say if you liked it or not?
I don't know if that's I don't think it's a movie like that.
Non-applicable.
Not applicable. I'd
Would you
say
kill your own son?
Dylan just wanted to get that.
oh, you just wanted you sacrifice yourself. I would do anything the Lord said.
Yeah,
if
see,
the Lord
it's a-
straight up appeared and he's like, God talked to me. Oh, in a dream? No, dude. He showed up like I am talking to you right now.
He was
there.
in man form.
Yeah, like tells that sexual dialogue from
Yeah.
the movie.
He was a human.
So let's get into the first quarterly tier list. We might break this up. We'll see. We don't know how long this will take. So we've got about 40-ish movies to rank. Rules of engagement that I can come up with. We have S tier. This is an excellent A1 quality film, potentially timeless, all that. I'll say we'll have an invisible tier above that called S1, which is like that's going to be like
What is happening?
that's like your Shinings, your like actual classic movies. Don't worry if you put a movie in S tier that it's going to have to compete with like The Godfather or whatever. There's an invisible tier above that for that. So S
This is
tier
just for these movies.
for the sake of
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
There's S tier, which
Within
is
the
excellent.
data set.
top-notch film. A tier, which is a great movie, maybe doesn't have the critical appeal that an S tier would have, but still a perfectly executed, fun, good time. B tier, which will be pretty good, by all means, a fun film, no real complaints, a good time was had by all. Maybe not the most substantive film, but an all-around, no complaints. C tier, which is mostly bad, but with some redeeming qualities. So you can't totally discount it, but it's probably bad. D tier, which is a true zero, an absolute waste of time, in the real sense, like just time chewed up, spit out. And then F, which is actually enraging, kill it with fire. You want to throw it away. You never want to see it again. You are mad at this movie. Didn't just waste your time. It angered you. A waste of time would be an improvement. And that would be the F tier. I have a fun little game I put together. It's not a game. It's a list. Here's some films that were released the first quarter of the year, 25 years ago in 1998.
Okay.
So we'll see how it stacks up if we're in a better place in films. Fallen, A Simple Plan, the Sam Raimi movie, Man in the Iron Mask, U.S. Marshals,
Okay.
Oh.
Dangerous Beauty. I only picked the ones where I could recognize the title.
Okay.
I didn't dive that deep into it. The Wedding Singer,
Yeah.
25 years ago.
I remember that.
In the first 3 months of 1998, The Wedding Singer was released. Elizabeth.
Oh, we had Emily. This.
That's true. Okay. Great Expectations
I can't wait for that. Great Expectations and
on Hulu.
Hulu.
Dark City,
Yeah.
Wild Things, and The Big Lebowski. So those are just some of the films that were released the first quarter, not just in 1998, but the first 3 months of 1998. There's obviously a lot more than that. That's just the one that
Why'd you pick
That's a
98?
lot.
25 years ago.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Completely
Missed that.
arbitrary,
Yeah.
arbitrary decision.
That's like still movies that you would know
Yeah.
and just from 3 months. That's kind of crazy.
So the way we'll do this, we'll each put our individual ranking. Those rankings will relate to a number. And we'll take the average of however many people saw the movie. If you're going to put it in a tier list, you have to have actually seen it. So
Can I note my criteria really quick?
go on.
Okay, so when I put mine together, I give the highest rankings to ones that I want to rewatch the most.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily like merit or critical. It's just like, hey, what do I want to rewatch?
Right.
next? You know. So,
Okay. So let's lead off with 65, the Adam Driver and dinosaurs.
I put that in the A tier. I consider it, I guess, pretty great. I would want to rewatch it.
I have no problem calling it B tier.
Yeah.
I hesitate to put it higher than that. I'm just going to be mean and put it in B tier. But it is.
No,
B is
means
not
pretty
bad.
good.
B
Yeah.
is not bad.
B means pretty
And also, we're going to round down if it's a 0.5. So if it's an average of a 3.5, it's a 3, which would be a B. But Justine,
Yeah, it's B.
Dylan, I know you're afraid of dinosaurs.
I'm afraid of dinosaurs. I'm afraid of Adam Driver. I'm afraid of being alone with a stranger little girl.
Oh yeah, that little girl is the same girl. The girl in 65 that dies is the same one as the daughter in D&D.
There we go.
Oh, that dies.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The hologram girl. The dinosaur tries to eat. Great movie. Hour and a half long. A.
C.
You put in a D?
C.
C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That means that the average rating of 3, this is a B tier film. Next up, 80 for Brady.
I'll go. I put that in my S tier. I think it's excellent.
I love it.
I also put it in my S tier.
Ooh, thank you.
Probably the best movie
It rips.
so far. One of them.
Yeah.
Top 3 of the year so far.
Yeah, it's almost great. It's almost A tier. I'm playing it conservative. Can't dish it out to everyone. I'm going to say B tier.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say it's almost great. I'm gonna say A though.
You're going to say A? Okay.
I love this might be the highest scoring one.
No, I think there's another one.
Oh yeah, I know of one that they're gonna do S tier for sure.
Only Son.
There's an average score of 4.25. This is A tier. 80 for Brady is
Okay,
A tier.
Okay.
A Good Person. Ooh.
Only you two can talk about that.
It's only you two.
Only we saw it?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. It gets a 0 for me. F.
Yeah, it's How to Be Killed with
Oh,
Fire
that's that
tier.
Zach Braff joint.
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
yeah.
Give it a D, Colin.
No. If I gave it a D, it would still average out to an F.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I would never do that because this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. A Good Person is unanimously F tier.
That's a Kill It with Fire.
Yeah, that is pure.
Woo!
It is that bad. I mean, no shade to Morgan Freeman. He did a good job. He showed up.
It's like it's
I
just a
know.
shame. There's a couple of things, but overall,
A Man Called Otto with Tom Hanks. What do you got?
A tier. It was the first movie of the year we watched, and I remember being like, "Oh God, what is this going to be?" And I
Yeah.
remember being like, "Wow, this is good." And then remember when we were talking last week about performances. There's performances in this movie that I really like.
I know, and I
But the reason I didn't put it in S tier is because I'm not going to be in a hurry to rewatch it.
it's a little sappy.
Yeah,
I like that it has heart,
yeah,
but it's a little sappy. I'm putting it as a B.
that's fine.
sad. I'm gonna go with a B. It's a B plus, but
Yeah, this is not a bad movie by any means.
no, it's a good movie.
Yes, it absolutely
Very, very
is.
good.
stuck between an S and A. I got a friend to watch. I didn't get a friend to watch this, but he watched this.
What did he think?
And he was like, honestly, man, love this movie. This movie's great. It's like I saw it with my family.
Yeah.
I was like, what? It's like I watch it at home with my family.
Oh, that's a tough watch with
And
family.
he's like, we liked it.
You never. I feel like I'm such a softie with these movies. It's tough to like, especially if you have a dude friend to be like, dude, see A Man Called Otto. It's fucking heartwarming, dog.
I recommended it. Yeah,
It's funny because he asked me like what my last movie was at the time, and I was like, I just saw that. He's like, okay, I'll give it a watch. And like 2 months later, literally like the other day, he's like, dude, I just finally saw it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I'll say A.
I feel like it's an A.
A plus, as one would say.
Ooh, this sucks. With an average of 3.5, this gets knocked down to a B tier. I have no problem calling it an A, but this is a strong B. A strong B. Don't let us make it seem disparaging. Amazing Maurice, Dylan, you hold the fate of this film in your hands. Don't you fucking kayfabe this.
I'm not. It's hard because
BFRFR.
It's really fucking tough because it's not made with me in mind.
Yeah, but neither was like say a Puss in Boots.
That one had more everyone in mind.
Or
Everyone
okay,
that would
so
watch it.
I
feel
liked
like-
from what you showed me. It looked pretty good.
It is not a hard watch. It's just like
It's a kids movie.
yeah, it's a kids film. Honestly, I'd give it a C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing Maurice, a resounding unanimous decision. It is C tier. This is good. This is where we get the emails. I don't think we'll get the emails. I think everyone's kind of over this movie. Ant-Man versus the Wasp: Quantumania. This is a C.
Yep.
If I'm being honest.
It's a C.
Okay. If it doesn't round up lower than that, I'll be okay with it.
I'll bring it down F. No, I'm just kidding. I'll give it a C.
Yeah, I think it's a C.
All right. That's easier than I thought. Okay, I'm not mad at that. I know there was some real disparaging going on in the film, and I know why everyone doesn't like it. I'm not saying anyone should like it.
Like C, the descriptor is mostly bad.
But with some redeeming qualities, and the redeeming qualities are, I forgot already. But the scene where there's a bunch of Ant-Men. All the ants in general are cool in it. I like this movie just fine, but it is just fine, which is why it's a C. Next up, Dylan, you hold this film's fate in your hand. The Broker.
I'll give it an A.
Sounded awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
I fucked up missing that one. Champions. Who was in for Champions?
Me and you, I think.
Just me and you?
Separately. Was that?
Yeah, individually.
Yeah, separately, weirdly. Yeah, solo, both.
Who goes first?
You go first. You saw it first.
It's a good example of a D. It is not offensively bad. It is literally just a kind of a time suck.
Not worth watching.
Not worth watching. You're not going to be mad if you watch it. It is a movie like this. It is a very movie like this.
Yeah, I guess you could go D. I'll go
Okay.
D too.
Right.
But I will say Woody Harrelson was really good in that film.
Cocaine Bear. It's
Okay.
tricky.
Check it out. Because
Okay.
of my criteria with the rewatch, like desire to rewatch, this is S tier.
I have no problem calling this B tier.
Mm-hmm.
It's a loving B tier. It's a pat on the back B tier. It's a boy, that was a fun time B tier. But it is B tier.
Yeah, it's a B.
You know what? Here's the thing.
Okay.
You're gonna go F?
No. I mean, I could, but here's the thing. I'm realizing that the reason I ranked it so high is because the theater experience
All right.
factors into it. So if I'm rewatching it, I'd have to rewatch it at home.
Which
I'm
would
going to
place
change it
at?
to A.
Okay. This is our first tier list, folks.
Yeah.
We got room for peer pressure. We got room to move.
So now I've only
Possibly
got 4 in
bribery.
S tier. Okay.
All right. Justine, what do you put Cocaine Bear at?
A B.
Give it a C.
Cocaine Bear, officially a B. Consecration.
I had it on D. Waste of time.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, D.
That's just a unanimous D tier for Consecration, which
Pretty
is
much any movie where you hear Colin go, yeah, it's got a lot of nature porn. It's a D. It's a D.
a lot of scenery.
Yeah.
A lot of scenery. Yeah. I guess if I'm being really pedantic, I would say it was mostly bad with some redeeming qualities, which might put it at a C. But either way, I think just in terms of your general walkaway, it is just it is time wasted. Creed 3. Ooh, this is tough. I'm between A and B on this.
Really?
Yeah, I just like these kind of movies so much, but if I'm being honest, I know they're not very good. It's just, comfort food. That being said, I guess I got to be true to myself. In my heart says it's A, but my brain tells me it's a B, and I'm a man who's ruled by my intellect, as everyone knows.
Oh yeah.
So as an intellectual, I will call this a B.
The criteria of C tier is mostly bad with some redeeming parts. So by that definition, I gotta go put Creed 3 there because the first, was it 20 minutes or so? Up until he wins the championship.
Yeah, the first hour and a half.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a tone of a man with a rating.
I don't know. I was stuck between an A and a B too. I like the anime shout outs that he does.
What are the anime shout-outs?
It's just all visual stuff
Oh,
that he does in
okay.
the boxing.
The style. Gotcha.
Yeah. I'll give it a B.
You know what? I actually got to downgrade mine because there's a boxing friend that says if I go any higher than D,
This is damn
we will
okay.
not be friends anymore.
All
so
right.
I'm going D.
All right.
That's just out of honoring.
Two B's and a D.
That's honoring friendship with an actual boxer.
2 B's and a D. Then I'll give it an S because it needs to even out.
No.
I like that. I like that. Go ahead.
No.
If we're having one fake vote, then I'm gonna have fake vote too.
It's not a fake vote. No, it's an actual D.
No, because you said
Yeah,
that
it's not
you would give
Yeah,
it.
you didn't even give your real opinion.
No, I said
You're doing
mostly
this out
bad.
of fear.
No, I liked it until Jonathan Majors. And Jonathan Majors got canceled. So, yeah, we're going D tier. Boom.
Yes.
Okay, I'll take it. That puts it at a B tier.
No,
A chicanery voted B tier.
For the record, I was gonna give it a B.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
I believe
So
it.
it's
Erica.
accurate.
Okay. The evil conspiracy.
Okay, let's
Start with the king. Dylan, tell him.
So the movie
Tell him
starts
straight.
off and like, I give it S.
It's definitely an S tier movie.
Do you need me to explain the movie?
No.
Wait,
We
say how
all.
it
No
goes.
one who has seen the Devil Conspiracy will ever need to be reminded of the Devil Conspiracy.
Yeah.
That
Which
does
is
not
why
leave
it's S tier.
your mind.
Yeah. No, it's an S. It's at least some of those criteria.
Fuck yeah.
I'm
on, big
calling
boy.
it A, but apparently I am a curmudgeon.
What swayed me is the what was the potentially classic or something?
Yeah,
That's what swayed me.
Yep.
I don't disagree with any
If
of
enough
this.
people watch this, it's like, like Super Troopers. Like, nobody saw it in movie theaters, but when it hit DVD, everybody was like, oh my God, have you seen Super Troopers? This could be one of those movies.
I won't have you begrudge the name of the Evil Conspiracy by besmirching it with the Super Troopers.
No, I'm
This
saying the
is-
phenomenon.
I'm putting it. My heart says A tier, but it doesn't matter. This is our first S tier film
Fuck
of the
yeah,
list
dude.
because even my cold heart does not bring it down. I'm not mad at that at
I think
all.
you're forgetting that a giant demon that lives outside of a well
I cannot stress.
swings around.
Dylan, how's it start again?
So it starts off with Archangel
Michael.
Michael.
Yeah, that's the only thing you'll forget is the name of the characters. No, I will never forget any of this. I'm not forgetting the baby coming out of the
Screen.
baby reading screen. What do they call those?
Sonogram.
Sonogram. I will not forget the devil baby sonogram. I'm
Don't
not
forget
forgetting
the bleach chugging and then nothing happening to her.
Yeah, she was fine.
zero repercussions.
She was fine. It was
Bro,
diluted.
No cap. Devil conspiracies.
Fucking legit S tier.
Can't complain about
Like, you
that.
gotta get on a waiting list to watch it at this point. It's so S tier.
Here's a challenge. Emily.
D tier. Waste of time.
I give it a C. C plus.
Justine.
That is a hard one. I think I have to go D.
D. Okay. I'm at C as well. I think the atmosphere is really what, quote unquote, sold me on it. I mean, it still sold me on it to put it in C tier, which is not really overselling me. But no, and you know what? I will say in my final defense of Emily, it is a movie where something happens. This could easily have been a nothing happens movie, but stuff does happen. There is scandal,
She dies.
and she dies. I'm not mad at Emily. I'm happy that I saw that movie, but it is still, so that's an average of a 1.5, which does get rounded down harshly to a 1, which puts Emily in D tier. Yes. House Party.
I had House Party at a B. Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm B on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, B.
Yeah, I give it a B.
It's a unanimous B tier. No need to break out the calculator. This is a divisive one. Infinity Pool.
I don't think it's divisive.
But I think I've gotten some pushback on my stance, and to reiterate my stance, and I've considered this. I've reconsidered it. It's the third quarter. It's the first quarter. That I really round up all these films. I thought maybe it's just a waste of time. Maybe it's D tier. Maybe I'm going too harsh.
It's C tier, mostly bad.
I think it's F, and I say that because it says nothing. It means nothing. It is nothing. It is nothing but fluff. I'm angry at it. You know what it is? I like transgressive movies. I like harsh imagery, but they need to be used responsibly. And if you don't, then it's just you working out your weird kinks on screen. And that's that to me, with all the pretension in it, it's a 0. This is F tier.
F.
2 Fs, okay. What'd you think of it, Dylan?
I'm C, whatever.
Yeah, I'd put it C. So that averages out to a D.
Yeah, okay. So
Which
Infinity
is
Pool,
considered a waste of time.
D tier, a waste of time. I think it's a little worse than a waste of time, but that's my personal opinion. Like I said, it's divisive. Inside.
I put it at A. I think it's great.
It's not an easy answer.
Yeah.
I'm calling it S. I'm calling it S. I think just by comparison, looking at the other films, like if I'm looking at other movies that I'm calling great, I would say this is better than that. Had an impact on me.
No, the evil conspiracy, but
It's different. It's just different.
it's
I'm calling it S though. I've never seen I don't know if I've seen a movie like this. I don't know that I've seen a movie like Devil Conspiracy.
I have, yeah.
I definitely have not seen a movie like Devil Conspiracy. Justine, you gotta I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, this is a hard one for me because I think there are aspects of it that are definitely S.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm thinking of judging everybody in this quarter and not thinking about what I would consider an S tier film of something I've already seen
there's
previously.
an invisible S1 above all these, which no film can reach because that would require a lot of time.
Then of this batch, it's S.
Yeah.
I'll give it an A.
4.5. That's a round down to
Yeah,
A tier. Jesus Revolution.
I had that
B.
at D. You had
You
B?
you going D on Jesus Revolution?
Waste of time. Yeah.
You liked it.
I respect that. Jesus.
Well, I'm being honest because it's like
You walked out liking it.
Yeah.
no.
I remember you were like, dude, I was actually like, oh my God.
But here's the thing: is like if I felt there was anything redeeming in it, I would put it in C tier, mostly bad.
Right. So D, it's not
D,
like
I'm
you're
just
saying
saying waste of time. I don't need it killed with fire. I was still entertained. By
Right.
it, you know.
I have this at 0. I have this as F tier. I don't have a lot of movies on that tier, but I have this at F tier. I just wanted it to be sillier so that I could laugh at it. Yeah.
I'm fine with it existing.
Right.
It'll help somebody probably.
I'd rather it didn't exist, but that's we can agree to disagree. Dylan,
Yeah, I'll give it a C. There's some scenes I liked, especially when he was pre-religion, just doing acid.
Oh yeah, like what they think acid is like.
Yeah, I like those scenes.
yeah. Oh God, they mentioned the Velvet Underground for no reason.
Hell yeah, they
Andy
did.
Warhol, fucking dumb.
Are you going to the Janis Joplin concert? Tyler?
The Grateful Dead are also playing, and Timothy Leary will be there. It will be really cool. You should sneak out of. This is a D tier. John Wick 4. That's not an easy one.
I know. I put it on B tier. It's pretty good.
Yeah. If I have to be honest with myself, B.
I think I'm gonna flipsy doodle this one, and I'm gonna listen to my heart because before I was listening to my mind, I'm gonna listen to my heart on this one. I'm gonna put it at A.
Mhm.
I just on account of I liked it.
Yeah, I say A.
Okay, that puts us at B tier. Nothing wrong with that. Knock at the Cabin.
Yes.
M. Night Shyamalan, he's back, baby.
I put that at C, mostly bad, and the things that were redeeming for it were this is the first movie that I liked Dave Bautista's performance, which was weird.
All right, I'm putting it D.
Yeah, D.
So waste of time.
D. Yeah, just a waste of time. A waste of time, but just.
Give it a C.
Yeah. So it rounds down to D though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Round down, man. I'm liking
All right.
this. I'm
I'll
having
give it
fun.
a-
I'm catching my groove.
I'll give it an S. Whatever makes it go higher.
Living. The remake, the
let's see.
Americanization of the Kurosawa film. Ooh, this is kind of hard too, right? It's hard when they're really good and when they're really bad.
Where are you going with it? F? D?
I don't think I can say S. It's an amazing movie. It's one of my favorite movies I've seen all year. It's A tier.
Yeah, it's an A.
Yeah, I give it an A.
Okay, it's a unanimous A for Living. The Lost King.
I put that A tier.
I ditto.
Yeah.
I give it an
A B.
Okay. That rounds up to A. Magic Mike's Last Dance.
A. Give it an A. Strong A plus. I kind of want to give it an S. I kind of like it a lot.
For the listeners at home, Dylan and Colin invested themselves heavily in this franchise.
Yeah. I went on a whirlwind bender and got caught up with the Magic Mike cinematic universe
After
watching the 3 weeks
Out of order?
Yeah, we watched it by the very last, and then we went
I love
backwards.
it. You went 3-1-2 or 3-2-1?
3-1-2.
Yes. Amazing.
I did go 2-3-2. I went 2-3-1-2.
Oh yeah, because you went with your mom. Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a medical condition where I cannot cap, and part of my no capping is giving this movie a D tier.
Yeah, I've got to give it D
you're a
tour
fucking
as well.
dickhead. Explain that giant boner you have then.
It's just because
That's his gun, dude. That's his gun that he was waving at you over.
You know what?
Champions.
But hey, listen, this is a tier rating, and you know that you cannot quantify a movie by such harsh numbers. This gave us the greatest. This is still the best line we've gotten this year.
Vegetable one.
I don't really fuck with vegetables. We're not getting a better line than that this year, so it's still as a loving D, a loving, smiling, erect D. What are you giving it for real?
A.
That averages to a. That's gonna be a C.
Yeah.
Marlowe.
Which one's Marlo? Oh,
fucking F. Yeah.
That's the Liam Neeson joint.
Yeah.
I give it an S, maybe A.
You didn't see it, did you?
Yeah, I saw it.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I saw it.
You did?
Yeah, you listen back to that episode.
Oh,
I
you saw it
watched
like the morning of the episode?
He didn't fucking watch the goddamn movie. I'm not gonna let him. Can't let him slide like this, man. See, this is you watch WrestleMania, and now you're just believing everything that's coming at you.
It's still Dylan is still real to me.
It's a D. It's just generally a waste of time.
Law of averages. We'll put that at an F.
Amen.
Maybe I do.
Oh, this is S tier for me because I want to rewatch it a lot.
I was so overwhelmingly charmed with this movie that I almost don't believe. I literally want to rewatch it because I just almost don't trust my memory. Based on my impression of the movie, I would have to put it at an S. I liked the writing. I thought it was super funny.
Yeah.
And Charm City. I got this at an A. But
okay.
I literally need to watch it again to see if I'm tripping or not.
I think you should because you've been saying that for like the past 4 episodes.
I know, but I don't know where to watch it. Whatever.
It's streaming. I'm gonna give it an A.
Yeah.
I give it a B.
So this averages to an A tier. Megan,
This is the last of my S tier.
you got it an S.
Yeah. Just because, like,
I
again,
know
my
that-
criteria is
yeah.
rewatch.
Got it. I'm
Yeah.
not mad at it. I'm between an A and a B. I'm leaning A. It's an excellently executed popcorn film. Like, obviously it's not, going to win any Oscars or anything, but it's just so well done for being a populist venture.
I'm going to take a small sample size of friends that watched it on streaming and didn't go to the movie theaters, and I'll back up your A because I was concerned that it wouldn't translate as well to streaming,
Right.
but everybody's like, holy shit, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
So,
being in the theater and having everyone love it, it's hard to turn it down. This is A tier.
Yeah.
You know what the movie I envisioned as an A tier movie would be like Independence Day, or like I'm gonna probably get shit for lumping these two together, but like an Independence Day or like a Terminator 2, no real flaws, but also obviously a genre film, so it's not going to be Godfather.
I'll give it a B.
Yeah.
I will also give it a B.
3.75 with a low rung A tier.
Yeah. Just hanging on to that bottom
Missing.
That's the phone movie?
That's the phone movie. It's all shot on screen.
green movie.
I can't possibly give it lower than a B.
I'm giving it a B.
I hesitate to give it more,
Yeah.
but a loving B. A loving B for me.
Yeah.
A B from Brent.
B.
Yeah, same.
All right. So it's a B, but I think we can all agree it's a
Good
loving
movie.
B.
Yeah.
A loving B.
Yeah, it's not a hateful bee.
Moving on.
Hard to
What
give
was
a
that movie?
That's the one where they're gonna kill the guy, Jane Fonda.
Oh, yeah.
Senior
Lily
Cinema, yeah.
Tomlin.
Oh, yeah. Super fun.
I'm a fan of these actors, but I got to give it a B.
God, again, heart all in on B. Mind says maybe it's a C because the acting is super stiff.
It could be. Yeah.
It's B. It's not mostly
Yeah.
bad. It is mostly fun.
Pretty good.
I can call it a B. The heart and the mind are in agreement.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B.
Okay.
B as well.
So unanimous B tier. Of an Age.
I put that one at A.
I got it at S.
Yeah, I understand.
I think it's an S.
Got an S.
Wow.
Average is S.
One of a very, very rare S tier film, and I don't think any of
Only
us.
The Evil Conspiracy and Of an Age are S. Dude, amazing double feature.
No, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know which goes first. I guess Of an Age.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
You can't follow.
You
the
want it
Evil
very,
Conspiracy.
you want it loud, you want it quiet. We got you. Operation Fortune, Rue de Guerre.
I didn't see it.
Is that just me and you?
Yeah, me and you.
Uh,
When I say it, answer at the same time.
3, 2, 1.
B. Oh my God.
Plain?
Oddly, I put this one in A.
Okay. I'm not mad at it.
Just like I put Otto at A. I mean, we started the year
Yeah.
and we're thinking like, hey, they just flushed out all the award winners, whatever. We're going to see some bad movies. But we saw Otto and then Plane and Megan. We're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, it's great shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, A for me for Plane.
It's a B for me.
I say B.
A.
Hey, sadly, that I believe that's a B, but that's a very high B, a pessimist B, because it had to get rounded down. Scream 6.
D, waste of time.
Which one's that?
That's the 6th Scream movie.
Oh. Give it a B. I have to put the popcorn factor.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a D for me.
If you're listening, Hollywood, let me write Scream 7.
For real, I can back that. Let Dylan
of
write
course.
Scream 7.
Absolutely, let
Any
Dylan write
horror
Scream
movie,
7.
let Dylan write. They will be so much more fucking entertaining
Scream
than the shit
specifically,
you're putting
'cause I
on.
want to put a rocket launcher on him.
No, Saw, you can also hire Dylan because he knows the
that's
lore
true.
more than anybody you could ever
Well,
hire.
I actually have to take umbrage with you on that one, Brent, because I want Dylan to be able to enjoy the Saw movie without having
What's
to
more
write
enjoyable
it.
than him? All right, look.
Okay, if you have Dylan write a Saw movie, you have to have someone else write a Saw movie. So there's 2 Saw movies, so that Dylan still gets to have a Saw movie.
How about
just
Dylan doesn't get to
perform
edit
for him.
it? He just gets to write it.
Oh, so he doesn't see what happens till the
Yeah.
end. But that might break his heart.
Dylan writes 3 different endings.
You know, if I wrote a Saw movie, I'd be so in my head about it, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it.
That's why you write multiple.
That's why you get to write one, but then someone else also is making one.
No,
at the
I
same
get to
time.
write one and send it in, but if they use it, that's up to them. And they never have to tell me until it comes out.
Where are you at?
S?
I think it might be a C.
Okay.
Oh, that's right, because it was Justine's first Scream movie.
7.
Was it really? I forgot.
Yeah.
She started with 6.
The most lore-centric one.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so that's a C. C for Scream. Shazam 2? Easy B for me.
Yeah, it's a B.
I'll give it a B.
Yeah, B minus.
A begrudging B.
Yeah, it's a B.
Yeah, I guess, see, this is a problem. You're swept away. You realize B Nation is rising.
Oh, wait, we're feeding her some Skittles, and she's going to give it a B.
Skittles vegan?
Yeah, they changed the gelatin a while ago. That was that and Starburst. She Came from the Woods.
Solid B.
That's the witch.
80s one.
S tier title because of the jokes,
Right.
but B in terms of the actual movie.
You know? I'm going to give it a C.
I'm tempted to follow. Hard to say because again, there's a million movies like this, but it's so cool to see one in the theaters.
Was it practical effects? I'm trying to remember.
A lot of it, enough
Yeah.
of it. There were some twists.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm not angry at B. I'm not angry at C. I
Yeah,
think
we'll
I'll
look
I think I'll give it a B. It's genre. and it's well executed. I don't know how they really could have made it better. I think it had that, the idea of like family secrets and stuff in the mix. It's a surprising B. It's a surprising B for me.
I think it's a C.
Rounds it down to a C, which I don't think anyone's
Not
It's
mad.
fine.
at. Oh, Brent, you hold this film's fate in your hands. Shin Ultraman.
Shin Ultraman is a B. Pretty good, but a lot of room for improvement. I'd say like a B minus. I'm gonna play a Justine. I'm gonna go B minus.
So mad at this. Skinamarink. My feelings
Okay.
are going to get so hurt.
Let me grab
Again,
my notes real quick.
heart-
I have notes on this one.
Oh, you got notes?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Heart is A. Mind is B. Actually, maybe, no, I think Mind is C. Heart is 3. Going with my mind.
It's just a bunch of like
Wait,
digits.
mine is C, heart is C.
No, heart is B. Heart is for sure B. I don't think
Oh.
I don't think if I could be honest with myself and call it A. My heart says it's a B tier. And the only reason I would give it that high is to augment the voting, and that's not how you should vote. This is a C, but again, it's a C that it's probably my favorite C on the list. This is a B. I don't care. I'll go on.
It's fine.
I'll give it a C.
I know you like it really well. So.
Yeah, Colin. No, you don't have to. If you're gonna feel judged, don't.
You're in a vacuum.
Yeah, don't let.
You're in a movie
no,
safe space.
I'm in a vacuum, but that's just it. And this is why I fucking hate like reading opinions on the internet, and I hate having the well poisoned.
Yeah.
And my well is like, that is a very flawed amateurish movie, but it's personal and it touched me personally, but it's so, I know exactly like, the only reason I want to love it is because people hate it.
Oh.
See, dude,
And it's not-
that's
that's
why
my problem.
That's why I established my criteria ahead of time.
I
said,
know.
like, and it's just based on rewatch. So in that regard, I'm never gonna watch this movie again. F tier.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give it a C though.
Yeah, C for me.
Did you give it a B?
I feel it's a B, but it is probably a C if I'm really looking at it from a technical perspective and all that. And that does bring it to a D.
So you like Skinamarink more than Infinity Pool? Got it.
Oh fuck! I
Yeah,
mean,
see.
Oh yeah,
that's not a
that wasn't
comparison.
hidden. Yeah,
That's not a
he wasn't
comparison.
hiding that opinion at all.
No.
No, I'm saying just like for context.
Oh.
like,
Oh,
this is where
yeah.
you're-
Again,
yeah.
Skinamarink, I think, is just actually someone, sharing a part of themselves in a weird way to the best of their abilities and on very, very limited resources. Whereas Infinity Pool is all the resources,
Yeah.
and someone just,
Yep.
writing like naughty words on a bathroom stall and hoping that everyone writing naughty words on a bathroom stall and then signing their name way bigger than the words themselves underneath that. That is a pure edgelord bullshit. Whereas Skinamarink, I think, had some personal idea to it and is like really not afraid to just be so fucking alien. There's no reason anyone should watch that movie.
It's definitely artistic. I could, I'm giving it a C, but I can easily see why you would give it a B, and I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah, I'm astonished that this is a film, let alone a film that's in a multiplex. The Wedding Hustler.
As a local Filipino myself, I give it a B. Or S. And somewhere in between.
He wants to.
I'm-
He wants to give it a BS.
I think
Yeah.
your first vote was your honest one.
Give it a B. I like to see local people succeed.
It was bad with some good qualities. That's a C. I can. It's an honest C.
Yeah. My good qualities for this movie were just the fun and looking
Yeah.
at the geography of it, and going, oh look, Palomar. Oh look,
Filmed here.
So in that regard, if I'm being honest, it's just a C.
I don't remember what happens in it.
Okay,
Exactly.
so
So there's
It
an
opens with
archangel.
Archangel
remember
David.
It's archangel named.
so what happens is the Filipino guy wants to
Yeah.
propose to the wife.
But doesn't
It's
want to
COVID.
tell her.
A lot of COVID
Yeah,
stuff.
the mom of the wife of the lady is all like, "Get a fucking job, Joseph. Get a fucking job." And then he's like, "Fuck that. I'm gonna get a secret wedding and hire this wedding hustler lady to."
Who's gonna
play
give it
this
real
wedding."
cheap?
And he almost cheats with the wedding lady, but then the dude from the restaurant walks in on him.
And he thinks that she's cheating on
Yeah,
him
'cause
because
she hugged
she's
that
planning
guy.
it.
Yeah.
But it was a dance teacher.
But I don't know what
They
these are all like what's the main part of the movie that the wedding
He's trying to get married and plan a wedding.
that the wedding planner takes him around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shows him how
That's
to
mostly
get
what's
stuff for cheap.
happening.
And he's
Yeah.
like he takes him to Seafood City to get cheap wine.
Yeah.
You'll remember when you see like one scene.
I will remember that
you'll
scene.
remember the whole thing.
Yeah,
No,
once,
I mean,
yeah,
like,
he's right. Once you see one scene,
Yeah, like
the
physically
whole
see
thing.
one
is-
scene.
Remember how abysmal the sound was the whole
That's
time?
the
Yeah.
funny
sound was
part.
Room
terrible.
sounds, volume
No,
fluctuating.
I
on there.
remember a lot of the movie, but I don't know what actually happens. Man, it's between a B and a C for me. I guess I have to go with C. It's like almost a B, but I can't remember what happens, so it can't be.
Magic Flute. It's me and Dylan hold
3,
this.
2, 1. Do a 3, 2, 1.
Oh, you want to do that
Let me think. This is a translation of a Mozart Songspiel. It is YA. I'm kind of torn. I don't think I can 3, 2, 1 it. What do you think?
again? I don't even know, honestly. Because you missed the one cool scene, which was the scary snake.
Yeah, but then I saw the trailer and the scary snake was in it.
Yeah, but you didn't see the mouth.
I'm between a B and a C. What are you at?
About the same.
God damn! What do you have? Are you confident in your decision?
Want it to 3, 2, 1 it?
No, because I don't think we'll have the same answer. What do you got?
The only cons I would have realistically is the length. It's too long, I thought.
Okay.
Other than that, like the real life and the fantasy life was done really well.
I think I'm leaning B because this is such a goddamn strange film.
A silly film.
I've never seen a movie like this. It's so fucking weird by way of being highbrow too. Like it's strange because it's a fucking YA adaptation of a Mozart opera sung in English. This is a fucking B.
I was gonna say I'm gonna give it a B for 2 reasons. One, the last person to get any song was Papageno, whatever.
Papageno.
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 So he gets the last song where the main character that you've been following the whole movie finally gets on stage and they just like cut to credits. He does not sing the last song.
If this comes up on any streaming service, we're watching it again, right?
I'll watch it again.
Okay.
And it's not so much like Harry Potter to me, though I get why you would say Harry Potter. It's more like The Covenant.
I haven't seen The Covenant, so I
Yeah,
don't-
we've seen The Covenant.
We have?
It's the boy vampire movie.
Oh, Jesus.
Or the boy witch warlocks.
Does that have Killing Joke in it?
Yes.
Yeah, that movie.
That's a good.
It's more like
That's a
that.
good criteria.
Although
You
it's
got Killing
like,
Joke in it?
even though The Covenant's like a mix of the both worlds.
Yeah, Covenant's way more Twilight though,
Yeah, but
and it's a little more teenage than proper YA.
no, because there's naked boys running around, or men. They're not boys.
And in what?
In Covenant.
Yeah,
Fucking
no, that's why it's
Winter
more.
Soldier's like shirtless.
That's why
swimming
it's
in his
more
underwear.
teen. That's a teen movie.
Wait, Sebastian Stan is in it?
Who?
Sebastian Stan? Did you say Winter Soldier?
Yeah, he's in it.
Oh.
He's the bad guy in Covenant, in which I would give an S tier if we were gonna go that route. But
We have another movie whose fate we hold in our hands. Southern Gospel.
Oh, you bastards. What are you doing?
again, a scene where I'm sad you missed was when you got to the 80s part. The best scene. One of the best scenes. There's a lot of highlights in the Southern Gospel.
This was the most fun I had just making fun of a movie while it was happening in an empty ass theater. We're not doing this when there's a crowd around. Don't worry, we're not that rude. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. C.
Oh my God, we're good. We have to like not look at each other.
Spinning Gold.
S
F.
S S S. No, I give it for realsies. C.
A C?
Yeah, it's funny. That's the redeeming qualities.
Oh man.
God, I'm
To see a really wimpy Gene Simmons and then
I
just-
know.
it's so funny.
I'm really tempted to give this a D, but there's something about it that just hurt my soul. And it's like kind of like fascinating in a train wreck sense, but not fascinating enough. Like again, if we were talking about the Meatloaf biopic on VH1, which I don't know how the hell anyone would watch that at this point. Is it on? Was it on
it's
YouTube?
still in that shitty like 240p. Remember we tried to watch
So
it?
hard to watch. But if you can, that's like LOL tier, and this wasn't that.
If you didn't know like the history or anything like that and you were just watching it as a movie, is it just bad?
I just think it's a little worse than a waste of time. And I think in that sense, I have to put it in F tier. But with Dylan's loving review, that puts it in a D tier.
Yeah.
His Only Son.
What is that?
That's
the
just
religious
talked about
one.
it.
They just talk. I'll give it a day.
Yeah, I'll give it S.
That's
Whatever
a
you
D.
guys-
That's a D?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a D. Ah,
What does that average to?
I'm wondering
A
if
D
it's...
and a D.
I'm trying to see it. Trying to think if
Double
I could
D.
paint it as a C. I think the weird fucking Kickstarter factor wants me to bump it to a C.
That's not part of the movie.
It
Yeah.
isn't.
Oh, the innovation of having the director countdown.
Listen, independent cinema.
Movie.
Independent cinema.
Skinamarink.
Oh
Yeah,
shit, she got you good.
Cinema
Fucker.
S. Just give it an S.
I think it's a D. It's by all means a D, but a D is not an F.
No.
A D is
The
not
D
an F.
is not an F.
And then Dungeons and Dragons. This isn't as easy as it sounds. There is recency bias to take into account as well.
By my criteria, though, just the rewatchability. A, great. I'll rewatch this probably my top 10 for rewatchables.
Not mad at A. Okay, if I gave Quantumania a C, I'm gonna say this is a B.
Yeah,
This is a B.
Yeah, it's a B.
yeah. I mean, it rounds down to a B, and it probably is. But I'm just
Yeah.
going by rewatchability. I'd put it up there.
That's it. We got through 40 movies.
Wow.
No,
One,
we're missing
41?
one.
Which one are we missing?
Something. I have a feeling.
Wow. Okay. That wasn't too bad. Our first quarter tier list. Let me see, just for
There's two
funsies.
S tiers.
We have two S tiers: The Devil, Conspiracy, and Oven Age. Plenty of A's. 80 for Brady, Broker, Inside, The Lost King, Living, Maybe I Do, Megan. All A tier.
Dang.
Again, do we have anything that beats Dark City, Big Lebowski?
80 for Brady.
Lebowski is obviously a classic.
Yeah,
And I think you'd have to have, like you said, you'd have to have like some time pass
yeah.
on some of these movies to determine if it's going to reach that level.
And in all fairness, I kind of just went off of like the first page of the most popular IMDb films,
Yeah.
American IMDb films of 1998. So this isn't the best survey, but
So what makes the Big Lebowski work? A lot of it is like the quotables.
right.
So in terms of like quotables from movies we saw, maybe Cocaine Bear has some quotables, but I don't know if it's going to age the same as Lebowski.
Again, there's only one quotable. I don't really fuck with vegetables.
Okay.
from Magic fucking Mike. People be quoting John Wick 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't been hearing that?
Hear it every day.
His only son. God so gave his.
I guess they do quote that a lot, huh?
Yeah, it's quoted.
Quite a lot.
I'm looking at like the quotes from Cocaine Bear that are on this list on the internet, and they're pretty bad. Like I don't think people know what quotables are.
Yeah.
Because like one of them is like, "How much?" Dee Dee said that. Did it do the cocaine? Dee Dee said that.
I could see Megan having some quotables emerge from it. I can't name them off the top of my head. Let's say you give that movie some time, it'll have something.
In Ant-Man, he says, it's time to shrink. We say that a lot.
It's shrinking time.
Oh, Skinamarink has a good quote.
Stab him in the eye.
Go to bed.
Run through the tunnel.
Where did it go?
Fuck, Skinamarink has quotables.
Close
That's
your
fucked
eyes.
up. Go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Check under the bed.
God, that's fucked up.
Where's mommy?
Dad? Yeah. Fucking, yeah, see?
There's only 10 lines and you can know them all.
It's true.
You know, in my entire Letterboxd review list, I have one quote, and it is from John Wick 4.
Which is,
I just put nuts. That's what that guy says.
when does he?
Oh,
Who
to
said
the
that?
dog.
To tell his dog to eat it, their dude's
The
nuts.
command.
Yeah.
All right, that was a fun roundup. Dylan, why don't you tell the people what's up next?
Woohoo! Hey, everybody. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Regal Movie Masters Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Grab your cleanest one-up mushroom t-shirt, your Nintendo controller, and a plunger, because we're going to the Mushroom Kingdom, baby! Super Mario Brothers, the movie. Also, we got 1001. What's it about? Well, there's 1,001 reasons to watch this film, and that has to be one of them. To find out what it's about. We also got Air. You know who's excited for Air? The fellow Airheads, Colin and I. But as a whole, we cannot wait for the Jordan Brand biopic we've all been waiting for. Anyways, everybody, we'll see you next time at the theaters. Bye.